Welcome back to Enigmatic Ends, where we explore the lives of those who dared to invade and conquer India, only to meet a fate they couldn't escape. Today we're diving into the story of Bakhtiyar Khalji, an ambitious warrior, a ruthless invader, and a man whose life came to a tragic, almost divine end. Sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey that will show you how the wheel of karma turns, even for the mightiest. 160 at the Urmsar region of Afghanistan. This is where our story begins, with the birth of Bakhtiyar Khalji. Born into the fierce Khalji tribe, young Bakhtiyar was destined for something big. Ambition burned in him from an early age. Ambition that would one day push him beyond his homeland, into the vast lands of India. By the late 12th century, Bakhtiyar started as a mere soldier in the Ghurid Empire. He climbed the ranks quickly, his name becoming known for fearlessness and ambition. He served under al-Dīn and then Muhammad Ghori himself. The more power he got, the more he hungered for more, and India was the perfect target. Around 1200 AD, Bakhtiyar made his first real mark on history. He took his sights to the lands of Bihar and Bengal, launching swift and brutal campaigns. He was ruthless, yes, but also cunning, a man who knew how to strike fear and seize control. He captured Bihar and Bengal, territories that would become his, and made sure his name was both respected and feared across northern India. Bakhtiyar Khalji's conquests were drenched in blood, but perhaps his darkest chapter was his assault on Nalanda and Odantapuri in 1202. Imagine Nalanda University, a thriving center of knowledge, filled with scholars and monks, its libraries brimming with ancient wisdom. Now picture that beacon of learning engulfed in flames, manuscripts turning to ash, and monks being mercilessly killed. Bhakti wasn't just attacking a place, he was attacking knowledge itself, and all it stood for. Not long after, his army descended on Bihar, slaughtering civilians, looting temples, and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Bakhtiyar's ambition knew no bounds, and neither did his ruthlessness, but even as he tightened his grip on Bengal, cracks were beginning to show in his power, cracks that would soon shatter his dreams. By 1006 AD, Bakhtiyar was ready for something even bigger. Emboldened by his previous victories, he set his eyes on Tibet, but this time, he miscalculated. Tibet wasn't like the plains of Bengal. The rugged mountains, the lack of supplies, the guerrilla tactics of Tibetan forces, all of it combined to spell doom for Bakhtiyar's forces. It was a disaster. His army was decimated, and his aura of invincibility crumbled. The Tibet campaign was a catastrophe from the start. Bakhtiyar led his men through the harsh terrain of the Chumbi Valley, aiming to seize control of the lucrative trade routes between Tibet and India. Tibetans, however, were prepared. They lured Bakhtiyar's forces deep into the mountains, far from their supply lines, and then launched a fierce guerrilla uprising. The once mighty army of 10 men was reduced to a few hundred, and those who survived faced relentless attacks on their retreat. Starving and desperate, Bakhti's men were even forced to eat their own horses to stay alive. As they crossed the swollen Bagmati River, many soldiers drowned, and it seemed as though nature itself had turned against Bakhtiyar, determined to deliver justice for his past atrocities. The Bagmati River incident was not merely a mishap. It felt like divine retribution. Chroniclers of the time depicted the storm as an act of God, as if the heavens had conspired to punish Bakhtiyar for his sins. The elements themselves seemed to be agents of justice, rising against him to ensure that his path of destruction would come to an end. Returning to Bengal in 1206 AD, Bakhtiyar was no longer the confident conqueror. His Tibet campaign had drained his strength, his power was waning, and enemies began to close in. It was at this moment, at his weakest, that Bakhtiyar faced the ultimate betrayal from within his own ranks. Ali Mardan, once his trusted lieutenant, saw the opportunity and led a rebellion. Some say Bakhtiyar was bedridden. Others say he was ambushed, but the result was the same. He was killed by his own men. The man who had once wielded power with an iron fist found himself powerless, deserted, and betrayed in his final moments. And so ended the life of Muḥammad Bakhtiyār Khaljī. His death wasn't marked by grandeur or honor. It was an end fitting for a man who had shown no mercy, an end marked by betrayal, loneliness, and defeat. The chroniclers of the time saw it as divine justice. Bakhtiyar, who had burnt libraries, slaughtered innocents, and built his empire on cruelty. Factions, justice, they say, may sometimes take time, but it never forgets. Bakhtiyar's demise was as bleak as it was poetic. After the disaster in Tibet, His shattered army limped back to Bengal, where he found himself with no allies and no glory. There was no redemption, no heroic last stand. His death was swift, brutal, and devoid of honor. It was as though the universe itself had decreed that a man who had taken so much from others would die with nothing. No power, no loyalty, no respect. Bakhtiyar Khaljī's life is a powerful reminder of the impermanence of power built on the suffering of others. He gained territories, he amassed power, but in the end, he lost it all. His story is a testament to the idea that no matter how mighty one may seem, karma has a way of catching up. The end of Bakhtiyar was not just the death of a man, but the fall of a tyrant who had dared to think himself above the laws of humanity and justice. Thank you for joining us today on Enigmatic Ends. If you found this story as intriguing as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales of history's greatest ends. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we unravel the fate of another notorious invader. Until then, remember, the wheel of karma is always turning.